I'm Charlie and back and welcome to the Hismario123 Show. Have you ever wondered about how they made the Pikmin series? See, Pikmin is this classic Nintendo franchise that started on the Nintendo GameCube and is still going. It's on the Switch as well. But the way they released the Pikmin franchise is quite interesting, and I think you guys should know about it. So as I said, Pikmin 1 started on the Wii. As I said, Pikmin started on the GameCube. This was Shigeru Miyamoto's baby. See, he had made this other game. He created this tech demo called Hismario123, which is just a tech demo. Some people like to act like it's an actual Mario game. It's a tech demo. It wasn't ever meant to be anything. But Shigeru Miyamoto took what he learned from Super Mario 128 and implemented it into a few of his other projects, including Super Mario Galaxy and a few others, but the major one was Pikmin. See, in Super Mario 128, there were 128 Marios on screen at all times. And this was a first for having that many characters on screen at the same time. That's insane. So Shigeru Miyamoto took that knowledge and gave it to Pikmin. Pikmin first released on the GameCube, and, you know, some people played it, but Shigeru Miyamoto, he wanted to make a sequel. So they made Pikmin 2. On the GameCube. Yeah, there's a Pikmin 2 on the GameCube. Pikmin 2 on the GameCube also probably just did around the same numbers as the first one, maybe a little less, I don't remember exactly. But when we get to the first big thing for Pikmin is on the Nintendo Wii. See, when the Wii came out, Nintendo did this series of games called New Play Control, which were GameCube games ported onto the Wii with new motion controls and widescreen. Such games that were ported were Mario Power Tennis, Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, but they also ported Pikmin, the first one, to New Play Control, and the Wii, whatever, you know what I mean. This, I think, gave Pikmin a little bit of a boost, and it didn't stop there. Pikmin, specifically Captain Olimar, was added to Super Smash Bros. Brawl. And Super Smash Bros. Brawl gave Pikmin a little bit of a boost. But see, this is where we start to get a bit weird. Pikmin 2 was released on the New Play Control series. As you can see here, I've also got Pikmin 1. But Pikmin 2 is a bit of an interesting case. See, outside of PAL and Japanese regions, Pikmin 2 was not released as a New Play Control. It wasn't released for ages. This game took a very long time to come out in NTSC regions, which is America and Canada and whatever. But instead, they got Pikmin 2 as a Nintendo Selects game. Nintendo Selects was their discount games of games that had already released. But what was interesting is Pikmin 2 never actually released on the Wii. Not until the new Nintendo Selects in NTSC regions. We obviously have this copy, but yeah, Nintendo like being funky like that sometimes. But then we move on to the Wii U. Reminder, the Wii didn't have any original Pikmin games, but it had ports of both Pikmin 1 and Pikmin 2. The Wii U had Pikmin 3. Pikmin 3, not successful. It was on the Wii U. No one has a Wii U. I have 3, but that's besides the point. Pikmin 3 released on the Wii U. People who played it liked it, but not many people did. But, in case you don't remember, the Wii U is backwards compatible with the Wii. So you can still play Pikmin 1 and Pikmin 2 on the Wii U. And although I don't know if this is actually true, but I'm pretty sure when the eShop was live on the Wii U, you could buy Pikmin 1 and Pikmin 2 digitally. It was just the Wii copies of the game, but you could buy it digitally on the Wii U and then play it, sort of, on the Wii U. And that's kind of cool. So that was Pikmin on the Wii U. So then you'll think, oh, we're gonna get to the Switch. No. We have 2 more Pikmin games to go. On the Nintendo 3DS, there was a 2D platformer spin-off called Hey Pikmin. I've never played it. I also haven't played these either, and I haven't heard good things about it. Hey Pikmin was in an era of Nintendo where all they did was make 2D platformers. Except that's not true. That was only on the 3DS, because the Switch existed by the time Hey Pikmin came out. It came out, like, around the same time as Super Mario Odyssey. It's insane. And then, that game, I don't think did well. None of the 3DS games in that era did very well. I talked about it in the previous episode. But there was still another Pikmin spin-off. The mobile game, Pikmin Bloom. I don't know much about Pikmin Bloom. All I know is it's free. I think I have the app installed on one of my devices, but I have never played it. I think it's a Pokemon Go-like game, but that's a Pikmin game. But then we move on to the Nintendo Switch. Now, the Nintendo Switch did not start with the Pikmin 4 game, which we now know came out. It started with Pikmin 3 3 Deluxe, which was a enhanced port of the Wii U game, Pikmin 3, with an added section to the end, I think, or it was an added prologue, I don't know what it was. Pikmin 3 Deluxe was a shock, because it came at a time when Nintendo wasn't really talking about anything that we were doing, and we were all waiting for the Super Mario 3D All-Stars announcement, because it had been leaked over and over and over again. But then it was finally time. They announced Pikmin 4 for the Switch, and guess what? It did well. But they didn't just release Pikmin 4, oh no, they ported Pikmin 1 and 2 again, making it the 4th Nintendo home console in a row that you can play Pikmin 1 and 2 on. And you can also play Pikmin 3. So on the Switch you can play all 4 mainline Pikmin games. Except 3 has Deluxe in the name, and then they changed the logo this year because they changed the Pikmin logo kinda. It's used to be this logo, and now I don't have Pikmin 4, so I can't tell you what the new logo looks like, just trust me. So that is how they made the Pikmin series, and it's kind of insane, I can't lie. That's weird. So, if you don't know, the Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance all came in cardboard cases. I talked about it in one of the other episodes of the show, but it's very difficult to find the cardboard boxes that these portable games come in. But luckily, there's a solution. These. Now, what are these, you may be asking? What the hell am I holding? Well, these are custom plastic cases for Game Boy games. Now, 99% of the Game Boy games I own do not come in a box. As you know, I talked about my Pokemon Green from a little bit ago. That comes in a box, and I also have Rayman for the Game Boy Advance box. But these are unofficial cases that house Game Boy Color games and Game Boy Advance games. These cases are very good for collecting. And you don't, like, if you just have this lying around, you'll probably lose it or forget that you own it, or whatever. And then whenever you're looking on your shelf, you see the spine, it says Game Boy, and then Super Mario Land. Lots of companies, though, make these type of cases. And they don't just make them for Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, or other portable things that are the size of 2 centimeters. No, they also make for things like the NES. I don't have any, but they make them for the Nintendo Entertainment System, the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, and the Nintendo 64. And then they do replacement cases for the DS, for lots of different things. Now, obviously, if you're a collector, maybe it's a good idea to have them. Maybe you want them. I don't know. I'm not you. But something about just having the NES games out, I don't know. I'm having to think about it now. I kind of really only wanted the ones for the portable games because I forget I have 90% of these. You know, you could also get them for the NES or the N64 or whatever. Nothing's stopping you. But if you want to get like very specific things and you want it high quality, then you gotta go to places, this is not a sponsorship, like customgamecases.com. I think there's a lot of it on Etsy as well. You can get a lot of these type of things, and they're all really, really cool. They mainly use the shell of like the DS game, like this. Even some of the DS games that if you want to make it yourself have slots for Game Boy Advance games. And to be honest, you can use like a European DS case, like one of these fat things. They are unnecessarily large. So you could use that too. There is a lot of solutions for those type of things. That's really all this segment is about. I'm not telling you whether to get them or whether not to get them, you know. Just get whatever you feel like you need. I felt like I needed them, so I got them. You may not feel like you need them, don't get them. Completely up to you. But I have one more thing to talk about with you, and that is the strange world of Nintendo DSi exclusive physical games. So, the DSi, it's the middle child, I'd say, of the DS family. If we're saying the 3DS is a part of the family because it has DS in the name, it's like the same way the Game Boy Advance is in the Game Boy family, kinda, sorta, not really. It's its own thing that has its own sales data, and then the DSi is kinda like the Game Boy Color of where it's kind of an upgrade, but also not really. So, the DS obviously released after the Game Boy Advance, and we got games like New Super Mario Bros. Like I had earlier, bloody Legend of Spyro, a new beginning console version of this. I'm pretty sure this is just the DS version of it. I played it once. It was not great. But the Nintendo DSi had its own exclusive physical game. This one is System Floor. I have never played it because for some reason, specifically DSi physical games are region locked, and so is the 3DS. But the DS isn't. Neither is any of the Game Boys. But the DSi is, and I didn't know until after I bought it. So I've never played System Floor. This is the only one I have, the only DSi exclusive physical release. There's not many. There's like 2 in America, and I think there might be a few more in Japan, possibly? I'm not entirely sure. But this one's very similar to Face Raiders that eventually came to the Nintendo 3DS pre-installed, where you move the DSi camera around, hence why it's a DSi exclusive, and aliens. I am kind of just making that up, but I think that's what you do. But something really weird about DSi games. So, if we look at a normal DS game, you'll see, actually, this originates all the way back to the Game Boy. So although these aren't real cases, they are what the boxes for those consoles look like. So let's have a look at them. So the Nintendo Game Boy. I didn't really talk about portable games when I talked about the history of video game cases, so this is kind of a mini history. So the Game Boy, you can see on the side says Game Boy, a straight line that goes down, and then you have the artwork of the game there. All of this wasn't on the original, but this is what the original front of a Game Boy game looked like. And then we move over to the Game Boy Color, which is pretty much the same thing, but you'll notice that the actual sidebar is slightly smaller and now says Color, because it's the Game Boy Color. And there's a bit of an effect on the word Game Boy. Crazy. But then we move over to the Game Boy Advance, and you'll see there's a little ridge. A little, not a ridge, but like it's a bit circular going down here where it says Game Boy Advance. Not much to add. Some, like even this should. Logically, on most Game Boy Advance games, they have a little thing in the corner that says only for the Game Boy Advance. I don't know why these cases don't. I just looked at my Rayman obviously doesn't, because it's not only on the Game Boy Advance. That's what it looks like. And then you go over to the DS, and you see the ridge, or the little circular thing, is kind of replicated, but you got this little black thing coming in. And the side of it, this is because it actually looks like this. It's Nintendo DS, the name of the game, and if you got an Australian one, then it says the age rating. That's what it looked like. But then we move over to the DSi. It's a straight line again. It says DSi now. It says only plays on, but it's a straight line again. And then the side just has 2 squares. 2 squares, which is the DS logo. Why? That looks so ugly. And you'll also notice the case is white, whereas a DS case is black. Unless you've got a European one, then it's see-through. As a Nintendo 3DS game, they are also white, and they have a straight line, but on the other side. And on the side they have the logo, and then the little icon, and then the name, and then I guess Japan also has age ratings on the side. Then we have to look at the actual cartridges themselves, because they're also a bit funky. So a DS game is black with the artwork in the middle, with it saying Nintendo DS. I know you can't see it on camera, but it says Nintendo DS at the top. Then we move over, I'm going to skip the DSi for a second, to the 3DS. But also, with a little ridge thing, and it says the name of the game and whatever. So white is 3DS, black is DS. So logically, considering the DSi is an extension of the regular DS, it should be black, right? Nope, it's white. White! But it's the size of a DS game, but it's white. Even though DSi games, a DSi can't play Game Boy Advance games. Nintendo were being a bit funky. 9. What the hell? None of this makes any goddamn sense!